fight and you may die. Run and you'll live. At least a while. And dying in your bed many years from now, would you be willing to trade all the days from this day to that for one chance, just one chance, to come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom?
And there we go. That's our opening. It's a long time ago, from an opening a long time ago. But yes, brother, there you go.
Where's the rest of it? That's just the beginning. I just put my hand up for freedom. You killed me. Where's the rest of it, brother?
Well, it was from a long time ago. I don't know what happened to it. So we had to reach back to the archives. So, brother, you want to introduce yourself?
Namaste.
Namaste.
Holy Spirit, namaste.
Good to be here. I'm Jim. That guy over there is my brother John. That was a lot shorter than the other one that I wanted to do. That was it was a much longer one, the other one. So good intro, quick to the point. We're going to have a great show tonight. We have lots of things to talk about. We're going to talk about, of course, I'm decked out in my Superman gear because I am going to be talking about Superman. And I'm going to be talking about it in a way that a lot of people, a lot of my nerd friends, geek friends are not talking about it. So I also want to dive into that. John's going to talk about the referrals, and I will talk about the New Jersey governor's race. Not too much. I don't have too much to add to it. We're going to talk about polls and stuff like that. And then, John, you're going to finish it up with what was your last piece?
Impact of Epstein on MAGA.
Impact on MAGA.
But wait, James, you're gonna ignore the 800-pound gorilla in the room.
Which one's that?
I lost a lot of weight, John. We've been gone. The fact that we've been gone all this time, and
yeah, no, I know we have been. We should mention that we have been on hiatus for quite some time. A lot of stuff going on in my life and a lot of stuff going on in John's life kind of made it a little bit more difficult for us to make these happening. So we personally, I just every week we talk about wanting to do the show again and wanting to do it. And honestly, we were going to reformat it, but I just haven't had time to reformat how we were going to do it, the way it was going to look.
Oh, well, why are we back today?
Why are we back today? Well, because we got stuff to talk about. We're gonna. We
I swear to God,
we gotta get back
just
on the
because
horse.
Superman.
No, it's not just because Superman.
It's just because Superman.
It would also.
You're ticked off.
It would also. I'm ticked off about that, but I'm also, ticked off about Fantastic Four, and I just think I'm done with superhero movies. We'll get to that in a minute. I did want to start out though with some breaking news, brother. This socialist, this commie in New York City,
the National Socialist.
The Zohan.
The National Socialist.
Udani. I don't know if you've paid attention to what's going on with that, brother, but he has a father who is quite the prolific speaker and has made a big impact. And one of the things that he was saying is the jihadists, when the suicide bombers, we should be more understanding of suicide bombers and the reasonings behind it. So that's what the Zohan's father has said. So I'm going to see if I can't zoom this in for you so you can see. So I was trying to find the article just by accident. I was trying to find the article about it because I know it's out there and I know there's videos. And so I did a Google search. And this is what I got from my Google search. You can see Zohar Madani, father, jihad sympathizer, understanding. Those are my words that I used to search it, correct? And you can see the top thing here is Zohar Madani's intern exposed for advocating activist jihad. I had father and they're not intern. And so
Ooh.
I couldn't find it. And you'll note also as I scroll down here to the bottom that there's only 2 pages that Google has. 2 pages.
Because all the news is that bad.
Yeah, there's only 2 pages.
The guy's been in the news for like 2 months now, nonstop, and there's only 2 pages on Google,
right.
Of course,
right.
because it's all negative.
And they purposely take out of it father, and you can see the things crossed off. Father and sympathizer are the things that are missing. The father.
James, you're looking at this completely wrong. Obviously, when the Superman movie, spoiler alert, is talking about moving to America, taking over, and by having all these wives, it was Zohan's father they were talking about, not Jor-El.
Obviously.
Obviously.
So I went to DuckDuckGo and I said, well, I know these articles are out there. I know they're there. You'll see that I did the same search. Zoran, I just literally copied and pasted it over. And what's the first thing that comes up?
The actual article.
The actual information. Madani's father sits on council of anti-Israel group tied to terrorism. And I had to go down to the third one where New York Post has Mahani dad's part of anti-Israel group sympathetic to suicide bombers is the article. And it's just, to me, John, here's it's just you can see the thumb that Google is putting on this election. It's clear, it's ever present, and we can see it because when we do a Google search, we get things that are about an intern. We can get rid of the intern, we can fire the intern, and then it clears Zohan's name. If it's his father, you can't get rid of his father. You can't fire his father. And so it's married to him. It's attached to him. And so the point being here, brother, once again, Google is trying to influence elections.
Remember, brothers, how long we've been doing this? When did Sussex County, when did you start Sussex County Patriot?
Started back in 2004, 2003.
Wow! So we had our 20th anniversary, and we didn't celebrate it.
We were trying to deal with our family stuff.
We were back then. So we are OG. We are OG internet freedom fighters, right? OG.
Yeah.
Back when the days when the internet was free. Isn't this despicable? Shouldn't there be a cause of action against these creeps for doing this? I mean, if the government's not going to, that's what we have to do. We have to free the internet. We have to free the internet of this nonsense. These clowns should be sued out of existence for crap like that, which they've been doing since COVID. They've been censoring the internet, and they get away with it. It's time to pull their plug. It's time to make them be suable and accountable like everybody else.
Yep. And what we see here, brother, I mean, it's clear. It's clear bias, and it's not by accident.
It's censorship. It's pure censorship. It's pure censorship.
You look at down here. You got more results. There's no 2 pages. It goes on and on and on.
And look for
on this guy.
And look for other things. Look for good old Planned Parenthood and Margaret Sanger's letter about the Negroes, right? And the Negro Project, where she was going to eliminate all black people, right? Mm-hmm. Eliminate all black people by aborting them all. It's gone. Fortunately, I took pictures of it on the computer when the computer was free, when the internet was a free space. But all right, so is that our topic? Are we ready to do Superman? You might as well move into it.
So this is so let's talk about Superman. I want to make it clear there's going to be spoilers. So don't be upset with something that you didn't know was going to happen.
What do you think?
Well, one thing's for sure, nobody's going to be looking at your face.
Mom?
Well, they don't call them tights for nothing. don't
Oy.
know. There's something.
Oh my God.
missing. Something.
What's that?
Baby blanket we found you in so long ago. And this. Your folks would be proud of you. We sure are.
Thanks, Mom. I'm not so sure about the cape, though.
Oh, really?
So the whole point of Superman. Let's talk about Superman for a minute.
Is that the movie?
That's actually Lois and Clark. Dean Cain as Superman. I'm wearing.
Why did you get that?
Well, because it was cute and it was one of those things. I have another one too that I might share. This one's more appropriate, I think. All right, so let's put this one up.
You're supposed to be talking about the movie, not the TV show.
Old Superman.
We have to do these pre-meetings again. All right, this idea like we can float ideas there like that doesn't make any sense.
You're missing the joke. You totally missed the joke.
All right, what's the joke?
The S stands for straight. You totally missed the joke.
What?
Anyway, now we'll go on. The whole point of what I wanted to dive into with the Superman story is a lot of my friends, they're arguing over the lore of it. I gotta say, yes, I'm very pissed off at James Gunn. James Gunn is not a fan. Let's go on record that this movie was great if it was a movie that had superhero X as the main character. He said in 2018 he couldn't handle doing a Superman movie. James Gunn of 2018 was right. He cannot handle it. He cannot handle doing Superman.
He said he wasn't ready. He said he wasn't ready.
He was still not ready. He's still not ready.
So wait, so it's been 7 years. It's been 7 years. So you think he should wait longer next time?
Years, John. He could have 7 years. He's great.
He should wait longer next time.
He's great with niche characters. Great, Guardians of the Galaxy. He's fantastic with. They're great. Again, this movie would have been good if it wasn't Superman. But you took 80 years of Superman lore and you crapped all over it. Now, it's not just a Jim Baldini viewpoint. This is a viewpoint of a lot of people out there who have seen this movie. And the main thing that they crap on is they turned Superman, they turned Krypton into an ethno state because, like I said, spoilers, because his parents tell him, hey, you're going to go to this Earth. You're going to have a harem. You're going to have a lot of little kids, and you're going to have a lot of. We want you to have a lot of people and take over the place. So he turns it into an ethno state, and then he turns Superman into some kind of Hitlerian type of character by making him say, you're going to have him rule over the other people. So the point is, why did he do it? He did it to be edgy. He did it to be different, to make something of the story. He completely.
Au contraire, mon frère. Au contraire, mon frère.
What do you think? Why do you think he did it?
Well, okay, so remember our history, because you've been on Superman for a long time. I think you wrote something about it way back when.
I did.
And Superman, of course. Superman.
We have an article.
Way back in the Sussex County Patriot days, Superman, of course, comes from what was going on in Germany, from the Ubermensch. Good old that scumbag Nietzsche, that atheist creep Nietzsche, had said that God was dead, and he was praising that and said it was when God is dead, you'll have the rise of the Supermen, the Ubermensch. And of course Hitler, because he was a pure Darwinian, he thought himself as the German people as a survival of the fittest, and the German people had to rise to the top. But of all the German people, he was the most fit. That's why he believed in what's called the Führer principle, which he broke no compromise at all. It was his way or the leader's way or no way, right? And so he was the most fit, and that is literally the definition of the Ubermensch. Well, I guess as you point out, two Jewish, transfer over on this side of the Atlantic Ocean, and they hear the term Ubermensch, and I think they were German. They have German background, so they knew what it translated as. The two creators of Superman, and they were looking casting about for characters, and so they create the Superman. Only it's not the Nazi version of Superman. It's not the Nazi continental European version of Superman. It's the American version. And what's that American version? Well, it's just the story of Jesus Christ. I swear to God, right? Father from far behind sends his only begotten Son to earth, to save everybody and sacrifice himself, right? It's the Jesus Christ story, and of course that's America, right? That is America. Truth, justice, in the American way, but the founding Trinity. In God we trust, liberty, and we the people. The Christian ethos. That's been we say again and again and again. There's nothing new under the sun. It's the same crap again and again. The same crap again and again. Oh, by the way, got another one to add to that file. The same crap again and again. The Sibyllines in ancient Rome. They had this wacky cult that was so crazy, worshiping the Sibyllines, that they only let them out once a day, right? And what they do is ritualistic self castration as they're on the altar, right? That's what they would do. They would dress up all as women. And so back in ancient Rome, what did they have? They weren't allowed to talk to anybody during the entire rest of the year. They had their own gay pride, right? Same crap. That's another one to put in the category. Same crap all over again, except for the life of Jesus Christ, which is the only thing new, and the political expression of that, under the sun, which is the United States of America. So you have domestically the growth of the American Superman, and then now James Gunn as a as a loser, progressive, right? That's just a reversion back from the same crap of the communism. It's another one of these fleas, of these diseases, of these pathologies from Europe that is migrated over to America. It's anti-American. It's anti-truth, justice in the American way. And so this is the natural. I'm saying my point is this growth. This version of Superman, the Hitlerian version, is the return to what the original version was from the European one, and it's only the proof of the pudding of what is this, Madami nut job. What is that scumbag Bernie Sanders? That other scumbag AOC? Scumbag left is taking over the Democrat Party. This is who they are. They are a bunch of commie pigs. They are a bunch of national socialists. This is who they do believe in this stuff. They do believe in Hitler, and the reason why it's almost like it's like their projection, right? They're projecting. This is who they want Superman to be. They want him to be the Hitleritarian version of Ubermensch, because that's who they are. And so I say it's the inevitable fall of Hollywood. This is what happens when you imbibe of evil of communism. It's not the truth, justice, right? Right.
You totally like bogarted my what I was.
I got you totally.
I mean, there was a lot more I was going to talk about, but I was going to be. I thought it was.
I stole your paper.
Oh, you just want to do this because you want to do Superman. Well, I didn't get a chance to do it. You did. Anyway, what I would also add to it is truth, justice in the American way was taken out of it, but it goes beyond. A lot of people want to just focus on the on it being a non-political movie, and they're very happy that they think that we're now arguing about the semantics of the show, like. Superman wasn't wearing trunks, or Superman, he was a very weak character. He was getting beat up. He wasn't really Superman. Like I wrote an article about it, and it comes down to, Superman, the song Jim Croce talks about, you can't tug on Superman's cape, you can't spit in the wind. But apparently you can not only tug on Superman's cape, you can whip him around and beat him up. And as long as his dog's not around, you can do whatever you want to him, because the moment the dog shows up, the dog has more cojones than Superman does. And, Superman is weak, he's powerless, and he's less masculine. And that really where I wanted to dive into it, is because it's become a much less masculine Superman. Now, I'm not gonna. I mean, I'm wearing a Man of Steel shirt because that's the one I found. I'm wearing a Batman and Superman hat because that's the one I found. But you could go back to so many of the other Supermen that have been there: Christopher Reeves, yes, Henry Cavill, George Reeves. You can go through. Brandon Roth. You all of them were strong heroes, strong Superman, and they didn't get their asses handed to them. They didn't get beat up in the same way that this guy did in James Gunn. And the point of it is they were trying to make him more human, John. Getting to the, not saying truth, justice in the American way. They were trying to make him more human. But the problem with that is it ignores so much of what the character is. He is the guy that comes in last minute and saves the day. He is the guy who protects people. He is the guy who gets beat up but doesn't quit. And he fights and fights and fights. This guy kept on getting beat up. Superman got saved repeatedly. He got saved by freaking Lois Lane of all people. Superman doesn't get saved by people. Superman saves people. And yes, I know in the
Lois Lane
comics,
doesn't save Superman. Superman saves Lois Lane, right? That's right.
right. And I
But
know that
James,
there's
this is the
time.
day. James. But this is the day. Remember, he's a white European male, so therefore he is evil. Right? And of course,
the
Girl Boss.
demasculization of men.
Girl Boss is going to show up real soon. Supergirl, right? Girl Boss is showing up, right? Or at the end.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Supergirl looks like it's going to be a disaster, but it's the demasculization of men, and we see that. This is just, as you were pointing out, John. It's just one more example of the problem with Hollywood. We have these 90-pound weaklings who can now fight and be stronger than big giant strong men, and they always seem to kick their rear ends. It's just not reality. It's just simply not reality. But it's
I just
fiction.
saw I wasted my 1 hour. Wasted my 1 hour of Netflix viewing a week because I'm down to that. I saw Old Guard 2 with Sharon Therese, whatever her name is. Used to be pretty. It's unwatchable. I couldn't get past 30 minutes of it. Basically, it's a warmed over. If you're gonna watch the Immortals, you got to watch Highlander, which they're redoing, right? And this is just so bad. Basically, it's 4 girl bosses arguing over whatever slight that they are arguing over. Oh, right. You stole my braids 500 years ago. It is so unwatchable. And of course, it has to have the only white European males have to be gay. It's so bad, and the action's so horrific. It is unwatchable. Like Luke and Laura, you watch it, you see it's all about drama and all of it, but at least they have the time to develop these characters. And I guess you can like fall into one side or not. But the problem with the movie is it's just an hour, and you don't care. Who cares about these creeps? Nobody cares about these creeps. Oh, blah 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 blah. No, I can't even tell you what the hell this stupid show was. I couldn't tell you what the first show was about either. It's incomprehensible because it's all about girl boss bullshit and basically always devolves into a mean girl, a high school mean girl food fight. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Pulling the hair and all the rest of it. Look, and even like the stunts, or it's like I swear to God, I was scrolling on Facebook, and the guys practicing are faster. The chicks that they get practicing with the guys are faster than this. But it's another thing too. Is 50-year-old Sherry Stone, butch haircut. Flabby arms because she doesn't stay in shop. She's destroyed her life by this creepy horrible feminism, right? And it shows. You can be beautiful and old, but you can't be a witch beautiful at the same time. You know what I mean? And it shows. I'm just saying.
The Norwegian female soccer team was going out and practicing, and they brought up the 15-year-old local soccer team to come out and play him for the local school, and the 15-year-old boys beat them 7-2. I mean,
it's unbelievable. It's like they have girls basketball now, right? I grew up watching these girls basketball because my kids, I'm taking them there, and I will watch a whole game where it's random chance would have it bounce into the ball into the hoop at least once, but to score 0. It's horrible. Now they say, it's all about the passing. Excuse me. It's all about a different game and teamship. And I go, yeah, but still, the ball never goes in the goddamn hoop. But during the breaks, the little 5-year-old brothers of these girls, and now the problem with watching male basketball for me is just men exceed the ability of the game. They're just too fast, right? But these kids, they're only like this tall. The ball's gigantic. It's bigger than their heads and stuff. And they meld themselves around these balls. I remember watching these two white kids and a black kid play. Unbelievable. Just bouncing the ball as they're trying to trying to block each other from getting into unbelievable. And they go in and this scores every single time. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah,
just again, your point. Enough with the feminist hag stuff.
And it's not over yet, John, because we have Marvel coming out with Fantastic Four, where there's, they've picked this very random one-shot deal where they got rid of Norman Rand, who was the Silver Surfer, the male Silver Surfer, who was Silver Surfer. Out of 1,000 comics, 999 comics, he is Silver Surfer.
The Silver Surfer.
He is the Silver Surfer. And in one time, for a couple panels, not even the whole comic, I think it was for a couple panels, they make his wife the Silver Surfer. And they've taken her and put her as the center Silver Surfer in the upcoming Fantastic Four. And every report that I've heard is they've made Sue Storm the girl boss. And Johnny was Human Torch. He was supposed to be like a ladies' man. He'd walk into a club and he'd have 2 or 3 girls with him, one on each arm, one walking behind. He had girls around him all the time. Now he's going to be more sensitive and more, not so much of a dog and not so much of a ladies' man, because he's more in touch with his feelings. Again, it's the demasculinization of men, and it pops through to the popular culture. And what the people, my friends in the geek world and the nerd world, don't get is that is nothing. It's just like can't remember his name, the guy who died.
Breitbart,
yeah. He said culture is politics is downstream of culture, and this is just another example. We see it in our daily lives. We see it with it's all about your feelings. It's all about your emotions. It's what's going on in our school. We're no longer teaching them to love their country. We're no longer teaching them the fundamentals of educational, like how to read, how to write, how to do math, punctuation. We're no longer teaching the fundamentals. But what's more important, John? What's your gender? What's your emotional state? How are you feeling today? That's more important. I got to tell you, brother, I graduated college in '94 with my degree in teaching. If my methods teacher that I had was to see the lessons that are being put together today, if I had handed him one of the lessons that some of these teachers are using, he would have rightfully kicked my rear end and thrown me out of class and said, "You'll never be a teacher in any school that I work at," because you're not doing the one job you have, which is teach the kids the subject matter that you're supposed to be teaching them. Your feelings are your feelings. That's their parents' territory. It's not your territory. And if it is something that needs to be dealt with at school, it's not the teacher's job. That's why they have counselors. That's why they have administrators. They can go to them. That's not the teacher's job. You have one job, one freaking job. Do it well or don't do it at all. And again, it's like I want to say to James Gunn, you had one job, make a good Superman movie. you failed. And I don't think Supergirl looks like it's going to be a disaster. He looks like he's picking wild choices, like he's flailing away, brother. He's flailing away. And like I said before, it was a good movie. It was Superhero X, and it was a no-name lore. But this was a waste of your time.
Well, my sources tell me that Hawkgirl was good. Mr. Wonderful,
Mr. Terrific.
Mr. Terrific was good, just like in the CW show, and so was Guy Gardner, Green Lantern.
They were okay. Justice Gang, not working for me. To be blunt, though, Mr. Terrific does more saving in this show than Superman does. Mr. Terrific and Hawkgirl do more fighting successfully than the guy who had the best fight scene, John, was not Superman. It was Mr. Terrific. I watched that scene.
Really?
And I'm like, holy snackerdoodles. Because that was so much better than anything I've seen Superman do.
Really?
I mean, so I guess the point is, like, it should have been the Mr. Terrific movie because he had the best fight scene. He took on like 50 guys, John, at once, and he won like single-handedly without even breaking a sweat. All right, that's my Superman review. Don't go see it. One last point. Superman 1978 made in dollars today, John, with less of a distribution, not worldwide as much as it is now. It made $1.4 billion in today's money. $1.4 billion. Not even the highest grossing movie of its time, like E.T. was. E.T. blew Superman away. But John, this movie is not going to make $500 million. It would be lucky if it crest $500 million. So in other words,
as Superman's go, how do you rate it?
I thought
the worst.
I wish I had George Reeves, the black and white version. You know, that he was the guy who supposedly killed himself.
It's so rich. It's so rich. They could do the taking down the Ku Klux Klan, but then they would have to admit that he'd be taking down the Democratic Party.
And no, John, it just should have been a movie like the first Superman movie with Christopher Reeves was mostly about saving and introducing the character.
It was so good.
It was, and it really did make you believe a man could fly. This, nothing like that at all. It just didn't feel right. People who are who aren't steeped in the lore, they're probably going to love it. I know they are because I have a son who loves the movie, but he never read the comic books, so he loves the movie. But like people who love Superman for what he stands for, they're not going to understand it. And I mean, some guy said he cried during it twice. Some guy who was watching the movie said he cried twice. I'm like, you're kidding me. You give me back your man card. I mean, would you cry? One of our ladies who are here, I told her, and she's like, she didn't cry at all. Like, I mean, you're more of a man than the guy who was saying he cried twice. I just and so many people are saying it's so emotional, it's so touching, it felt so nice. Emotion, they're all emoting. That's what it is. I've taken up a lot of time, but so did you on this, so I don't feel guilty. So go on. Totally
Bogart you though.
Yeah, you did Bogart. Go ahead. Go on to your. I'm going to Bogart
all
you
right,
on this.
The big news that went under the radar this week was that there have been referrals for prosecution of Comey and the deep state over the Russia hoax. So Tulsi Gabbard has declassified like 100 documents exposing the connections of the original undermining of the Trump presidency and the original you could say it's a treasonous act of when in the transfer of power from Obama's administration to Trump administration, where they hamstrung the incoming administration. So she declassified these documents to show that Comey.
If I can just interrupt, the CNN and the left media are trying to minimize this, but this is real, and here is proof of it. You have Tom Cotton, who makes the statement, Obama and Biden, parentheses, these partisan Democrats were desperate to defeat and undermine President Trump. This is coming from the intelligence community. I just wanted to drop that in there because this is a real deal. This is going to have major implications going forward. So that's all I'm saying. I'm done.
All right, so let me recap. So remember what happened. So remember the Clintons sold out the State Department when Madam Clinton was the Secretary of State. So basically, when I say she sold access to her and to get favorable results from the U.S. government, you had to go through Hillary Clinton, who you had to pay hundreds of millions of dollars to the tune of $2 billion. And so she violated the law because she didn't want this conspiracy being transferred and the information and the communications and the emails being transferred on U.S. government servers, because then there would have to be a record of it. So she had her own server installed in her house in New York, and server that she washed, like glove? You mean like with a rag? But she accidentally killed so that you couldn't recover all of the she was giving out to the tune of, remember, they went in there as millionaires, but they didn't have $2 billion. They let out of that of the Madam Secretary's stint at the State Department worth $2 billion, including $200 million that she got from the Russians, and Bill got like $500,000 for a so-called speaking engagement because she okayed the sale of U.S. uranium to 20% of the United States uranium to the Russians, and so she was busy selling out America for profit and putting it on her computer back in Chappaquiddick to hide from the U.S. government. That's a crime. She should have been prosecuted for that. She should have been locked up. She should have gone to jail for it. And that $2 billion should have been confiscated from her and put into the U.S. Treasury because the American people paid for it because she sold out the government. So anyway, she's running against Trump, and she thinks that's going to come out because it came out. It was going to come out no matter what. So she manufactures this story of Russian collusion. Remember Russian collusion, Russia with Donald Trump and Putin. Said, oh, he's the best friend of Putin. He went he was going to put a hotel. How thin it was. We know that Donald Trump is literally the cleanest person in all of America, right? He is the most innocent person in all of America because they had to manufacture this nonsense, right? And so they manufacture this nonsense of the dossier. They get their creep friends in the MI6 and in the intelligence community in Australia and England to come up with a manufacturer for $1 million. It's, there's this incident where Donald Trump was in and the prostitutes urinated on him. Complete bullshit, right? And everybody knows this bullshit. And so for the election, they have this ready to go. They leak it, of course, because their friends leak it. And John McCain, because he's a dirt bag, of course, runs over to Europe, gets it, brings it back, and it's a big boohoo. It's a big scandal, attempting to cover up the real person owned by Russia and the Russia reset is, of course, Hillary Clinton, because that's what the left always does, is it projects their evils upon their enemies, and Hillary Clinton projecting the evil that the Russians, that she was paid off by the Russians onto, and of course Joe Biden was paid off by the Ukrainians onto Trump. So anyway, Trump wins the election anyway. But there's this story out there, the Russia. And of course, Mookie and Hillary, well, they blame Russia. And so now remember, there's a long transmission period from November when 2016, when Trump wins, to January 20th, when Obama hands over the keys to the White House. In that time period, because there's an allegation of Russia collusion, right? The intelligence services, do an assessment. every day the assessment is to Obama. No, this is all made up. Made all this up. It's a campaign. She paid with campaign finance money, which the only penalty she's had is she had to pay a penalty for it. She should have been locked up for 20 years for this, right? So but they do that. So what does Obama do with this information? What does he do? He uses it to tell his clowns, Susan Rice, Joe Biden, Clapper, and me, to gin up as this is a real thing, right? So on his day, they do this like the last meeting that they have all together. But in the last month that they're doing this, right? But the last meeting they have, it's so bad that even Susan Rice, the goon, right? The Susan Rice, she makes a 2-week last day of the when the last day she has power, minutes before she loses total access because it's going to be turned over to the first Trump administration. She writes this memo about, oh yeah, we had a meeting about this, blah blah blah, right? So anyway, they start the hurricane, the investigation, which then cripples the American president, the American people's choice to be president in 2016, Donald Trump's administration, for 3 years. 3 years and a fake Russia, $40 million, it was a $20 million investigation of special counsel Mueller, right? And 3 years of Russia, 3 years shift lying. Oh, there's information there about the connection, right? 3 years of the American people's will being thwarted by this traitorous act. He should be shot for this crap. He should be. It would be not too far to execute him for treason for these cops for this. Because listen, if you can't turn over, the simplest thing to do is just to hand the keys over to the guy, right? To hand the keys over. One of the things is I'm an attorney. And every once in a while I have these DAs who believe that defense doesn't have an a reason to exist. We don't even deserve to exist. And so what's really bad is you run up with ass judges to believe the same thing. It's no anti being a lawyer. Listen, one of the things you do is let the other side have their say, right? That's the ultimate bedrock of due process. The bedrock of the system is the other guy gets to have his say, right? They let to have their say, you make your say. They get their facts, we put our facts. They get their argument, we make our argument, right? So when you lose, you hand over the keys and that's it. You don't treasonously make a fake investigation to handcuff and to thwart the American will's people. They voted you out, pal. They voted your clown Hillary out. Obama knew she was stealing from the American people. He was totally corrupt. He didn't have the balls to get rid of her. He didn't have the balls to expose her. Right now, in Obama's defense is because we saw that clip from the 1 minute of missing from Epstein's 24-hour surveillance cell, and sure enough, what did we see? Hillary Clinton walk into the cell, and the next thing you know, he's dead. right. So maybe we can't hold that against him. Maybe we can't hold that against him. But this is different. She lost. And this is affirmative actions done by that dirtbag Obama, right? Because he's so freaking arrogant, and he believes crap that he's the second coming of the Mahdi or whatever. It's not Jesus Christ, right? It's the Mahdi because he's an Islamist. And so he does now. You think about it. Remember. The contrast is this though. We saw when for a second administration, this is the way the power is supposed to go, right? He said, I'm going to lock down the border. Boom. A month later, the border is locked down. And they have unheard of, zero. All the lies for the last 4 years, well, we can't lock down the border until the Republicans, these evil Republicans, make us immigration reform and give us everything that we want, which is make all these illegals legal, right? All lies from the, but that's fine. They can tell their lies. Then when he comes in, the next guy gets to do what he wants, which is I want the border locked. And it wasn't like the first administration where it was 3 years and all the creepy judges. Now all the creepy judges, but on different areas. But remember the border stuff that they put them through for 3 years? They're thwarting the will of the American people. Thwarting the will of the American people. People wanted the border closed in the first in 2016. The border should have been closed in 2016. And then we wouldn't have 40 million people in here that don't belong in America, and the further of the American middle class, right? And all those dead people, all the poor dead women murdered, and all the poor dead people killed by fentanyl for 8 years. That's 800,000 dead because 100,000 a year dead Americans. Thanks. When Trump came in 2016, the border should have been closed then, the way he just closed it, right? But his thwarting, it was all about thwarting, because this is their religion. This is Obama's religion, power, and it to the American people, because they hate people. We're going to crush the American people, and that's the way this is their religion. That's what they believe, and so anything goes. They have no morals because they worship the evil one, and their morals is the evil one's code, and so that's what they can do. Now the statute of limitations run on all these cases, but and this is why they're doing everything they can to cover it up now. This is why, because one of the little things, criminal defense attorney, one of the things about conspiracies, and they call it collusion, because they could say conspiracy, because then it would be lying, right? So they call it colluding. But one of the little secrets about a conspiracy is this: if you make an affirmative action during a conspiracy, that tolls the statute of limitations. So federal crimes is usually a 5-year statute of limitations, or sometimes 2 years, depending on what the crime is. So it's from 2016. It's almost 10 years later. We're out, right? Except a little incident occurred sometime after President Trump became ex-President Trump the first time, and there was a certain little raid in Mar-a-Lago. So they gin up a bunch of this. And if there's a dirtbag who needs to go to jail, it's that dirtbag Jack Smith, right? So remember with that. So they invent a perfectly ridiculous reason to invade Mar-a-Lago and go through Melania's underwear, right? The little sex perverts, and go through a teenage boy's underpants drawers, right? That's what the kind of perverts FBI and the DOJ became, right? That's what the kind of perverts they are. So anyway, they do that, and allegedly they had to get the classified information from Trump, because he was just going to be just too cavalier with it. Now, it's complete nonsense. Of course, nobody can touch anything he does. He doesn't have to go through a process for classification. Everything he classifies, he doesn't have to write anything down. The entire classification system is a myth that exists only for him. To help him do his job. He has plenty of priorities in this. He can declassify anything, even after office, because it's his paper. If it happened during his, he can do anything with it, because he was president then, right? Nobody can say anything. No judge, no nothing. But they use this bullcrap excuse. Mar-a-Lago. Now they were to gather up the classified information, but they took, and this is what we're gonna find out when we get the facts out. The Crossfire documents from that fake Russia hoax investigation that Obama triggered. Now they were declassified like the day before Trump administration ended. They were sitting in Mar-a-Lago, and some people believe it was the real target of that entire raid. If they did that, if they took those documents, because again, they were there to give that nonsense search warrant, that fake search warrant devils do, and say it's real, and say that they were really there on legitimate terms. They were only there to get the so-called classified documents. That document was declassified, and so when they took that, that's a cover-up. That's an affirmative action to cover up that, and then all again, there goes your statute of limitations, and that's why it's so serious, and that's why when Tulsi Gabbard does it, and I bet you're going to see eventually the idiot talking heads on the right figure this out. They haven't figured it out yet, because Mark Levin is too busy doing Israel first, and so is little Ben Shapiro and all the rest of them. They're all, and then the fake people, Dave Smith and the Losertarians who all said that they voted for Trump. They really didn't. They probably voted for Kamala anyway. All those clowns, they're too busy missing the point of how big this is. This is really big. This is the thing where it could actually be, and it is deserved. If Obama, if his intelligence, and I haven't seen these documents yet, but supposedly Tulsi about 100 briefings, and this is his daily briefing. If he was every day, and the expert said, and the real people who handle and hopefully there are still people in the intelligence services. They're just there about the facts, man, and just trying to do the right thing. They go, and he was told every day, nope, Russian, all hoax, all made up, all nonsense, nothing. And he was told that day after, and he still made these affirmative actions to instigate, to tell his people, Comey and Clapper, listen, you got to tell your line people to shut up and to okay this Operation Crossfire Hurricane bullshit to hamstring the incoming administration. That's treason. That's a crime. You've interfered in the talk about there's this obstruction of justice. Talk about obstruction of justice. Talk about obstruction of elections. Talk about obstruction of the incoming president. Right? That's it. You just did it, and the American people have suffered 3 years of this nonsense, and there should be an accounting for that. And that accounting is a good old dirtbag Obama and his crony clowns get marched off in handcuffs. Now they're going to say, "Oh, that's just Trump getting back at his enemies." Well, wait a minute. No, that would be if he locked up Joe Biden, and we might get to that date, right? But Joe Biden was smart enough to give himself and everybody else, well, not himself, but everybody else pardons, right? And so he's probably okay. But not Obama, not Obama, because Obama wasn't given whether it was Obama, not Susan Scumbag Rice, who needs to go away too, not Comey, not Clapper, those clowns, so it's time, and not Jack Smith. So it's time for those people to get marched off in handcuffs down. And here's the reason why: if you can't have a non-violent, because this was violence. This was done to Donald Trump's family. Violence done to his house in Mar-a-Lago. Violence done to Melania, right? And the violence done to Trump supporters. When that's Roger Stone's wife and molested her in the middle of the night by the goddamn fake FBI, right? This is violence done to the J6ers, right? This is violence done that they've introduced into the American Polytech, right? And if you don't squash it now, every election, while they have elections, is going to have this. Everyone, the people who do evil have to and violate the law have to pay the price. They have to be seen to pay the price, because if they get away with it, it's going to be 10 times worse next time. And next time, we're not going to have a hero business billionaire anointed by a god, probably. Well, who knows? A guy can do anything. Who doesn't have resources of 1 billion years and the skin of a freaking rhinoceros, to bear these arrows and slings of arrows, the way he has. So it's a long overdue. It's the biggest news this that went completely under the radar. But if you listen to the Ballistic Patriot, you get it. Or wait, what's our name now? We're
Beating the Matrix, John.
Beating the Matrix. Then you hear it first. The idiot talking heads are going to let it take off. Watch it. Maybe they'll catch on, but watch. Even if they don't, sooner or later, this is going to hit, because sooner or later, the only problem is it's now in the hands of Pam Barney. And she's a horrible. It's like this, people accuse me of saying I was never pro Pam Bondi. She was horrible with the guns down, right? And anyway, these nitwits this nitwit DeSantis and her should have been convening grand juries to investigate Jack Smith and these clowns down in Florida, because they had a task. They had to protect the number one most important citizen of the state of Florida, Donald J. Trump. They did not.
I do want to point out one thing. There's this some that I've heard people complaining about, and I think you might have brought up, going after your political enemies, right? I think we're past that, only because I will say this, because when they went after this belief that former president isn't going to get called to be put on trial, isn't going to have to face any criminal charges. I think we're past that, because they just did everything they could to Trump. And so So when they bring up the charges against Obama, there's no inoculation for him. Our
But
inoculation,
you argue.
the defense.
That's what you argue.
Yeah, it's like, well, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander, is what it comes down to. If it's good for Trump to be dragged in front of the Southern District Court of New York and have to face the music there, then why wouldn't it be okay for Obama
And
to
in
be called into
Georgia,
the
and in
Southern
Florida.
District of
Yeah.
Florida, right? Why wouldn't he be able to be called into there and to be tried just like Trump was? He'd have to get his own lawyers like Trump did. He'd have, and the other thing, we've just seen the first, which I don't know if you saw this, the first kind of like shot across the bow from Trump, I guess you might say. You remember back when they were trying to go after Trump, that Biden said, "Oh, we're taking presidential, the presidential courtesy, like where they don't have to share information." And what's that called? The presidential, because he's a president.
The security.
Yeah, well, there's a presidential.
The security briefing. The security briefing.
No, it was the presidential. It was where he gets courtesy from. They don't have to give information over. It's like it's like it's like a privilege. It's like because he's the president, executive branch. He has protections. He has protections built into the system so that Congress can't see everything that he's, the people he's talked to, who's talking to him, and not immunity, but what is that called when you have a lawyer? What's that called, brother?
Executive privilege? Are you talking the executive privilege?
Executive privilege, yes. Executive privilege. He has executive privilege. Well, if you remember back, Biden took Trump's executive privilege away in an attempt to go after him. Just recently, they took the executive privilege away from the doctor for Biden and said, put him before the Congress, get him to ask him the tough questions. And of course, he took the fifth, but we're taking that stuff away. It's like a shot across the bow. You did it to me. It was good enough for Biden to take away that from me. It's now good enough for it to be taken away from the Democrats. And that's the world we're going to be in now. That's the matrix that we're in. That they created. They've created this matrix, not us. For years, we have the Mitt Romneys, the sober and judicious. We're not going to get worked up. We're not going to get retaliation against the Democrats. Yes, they lied yes, they gave the answers or questions to the Democrat candidate in a debate. Yes, the moderator protected the Democrat
Crowley
during the debate. Yeah, yes. When we interviewed the Democrat, we changed their wording and we gave him softball. Not anymore, brother. Trump, they changed it. They changed Kamala's answer. Court. You slander him. Court. Let's do it. It's a new matrix. It's a new world, and they created it all on their own.
Well, let's hope that these people, these idiot Republicans, are taking notes so that they know how to fight. Because we only have a short time where we're going to have Trumpy. We only have him for a little bit.
Yeah.
And God could call him back. He's done more than his fair share.
Well, John,
he suffered more than.
That's why we have beating the matrix. That's why we have us.
That's right.
That's why we got us.
I thought we were changing
the keepers.
We're
the keepers. We're the keepers of the rod of truth.
Wait, should we really be going with the beating the matrix? I thought we changed the name again. You came up with another one, remember?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we were going to do American Garbage Men, because Trump got on the back of the truck.
Mm-hmm.
Or, but
neither
we have
neither one of us works as garbage men. It's a very honorable trade.
Yeah, we got to talk about really talk about our branding. But hey, beating the matrix it's a website. It's functional. It's working. I got it under control. And it's got its new article up, so make sure you check it out.
Okay.
We've been at it an hour, but I did just want to mention the polling. Recently, there was a poll came out from Rutgers Eagleton, which showed Jack Ciattarelli behind, but within striking distance of Mickey Sherrill for governor of New Jersey. A lot of people got themselves flustered over this, and of course, you saw the media in New Jersey and New York go, "Oh my God, we're gonna have a Democrat. We're gonna have a Democrat." I just wanted to show you a little bit of the track record of the Rutgers Eagleton poll for the 2024 presidential election. These geniuses picked Harris to win New Jersey by 20 points. So I don't know if I would trust them.
She won. You're right, James. She won.
She won, yeah. But
she
not
won.
by 20 points. Not even close by 20 points. Not even close to Joe Biden's alleged margin in 2020, which information is coming out about that too. But
James, she won. I thought she got 83 million votes, right? He got 81. Yeah. Joe Biden got 81. Kamala had to get 83 million, right?
Not quite. But so I just wanted to make that point. We are going to do an in-depth dive. One of the things that Mickey Sherrill is she is a corrupt individual. Even that guy named Charlemagne, was it Charlemagne the God in the Breakfast Club? They questioned her. This was a Jack Ciattarelli ad. It was a great ad. They have this guy Charlemagne questioning her. Hey, during COVID, didn't you trade, stock trade $9 million worth of trades? And she's like, she had the crummiest answers. And she's like, I'm not even really aware of that. It was just, it was so bad.
Are you going to give the money back then? Yeah. Listen, maybe it's an accident. Did that $9 million? Yeah, you should give it back.
Yeah. She wasn't aware of it, John. And then even this guy, even John, Charlene.
Right. Well, right? James, many times when I put in the the ATM, I don't read. That could happen, brother. It could happen. Now, should I give quickly on the MAGA of the Epstein, just real quick because we don't have a lot of time. The impact is going to be a big fat zero because yes, it is very important. Deep dive when we have half an hour time to go. It's very, but it's going to have zero impact because of other things. Again, the whole movement is the MAGA movement is this. The MAGA movement, there's a existential threat to America. It's climate change bullshit, right? That's complete bullshit. There's not going to be no change. The only existential threat is 1,000 years from now, or anywhere from 100 to 1,000 years from now, is going to be freezing. It's going to be 2 miles of ice in Pennsylvania, right? So that's the only, but the existential threat, there is to America, and it's to the American middle class. The MAGA movement MAGA is literally fighting for its life. It's had 60 years of these aristocrats destroying the middle class to the point where our friend Louise said that 85. She saw a statistic where something like 85% of American population doesn't have $1,000. I saw another one saying that 50% of America has no assets. And that's their whole goal, is to make us just like Europe, where you don't own anything, American people don't have anything, and all you do is rent everything from the aristocrats, and that's it. The aristocrats have everything, feudalism. And you just renter. You're just a renter. Feudalism, right? John. And that's their goal. And we are literally, and the idiot Bushes and the idiot Obamas and the idiot Clintons sold us out, put all our jobs over in China, right? Well. The reason why this is going to have no effect on MAGA is because Donald Trump over the last 6 months. Amazing movements. The big, beautiful bill. Number one, it closed the border. $150 billion closing. That border is going to be closed. The number one reason for the big, beautiful bill, because it stops the death of. Just this last week, he a Schedule 1, meaning if you're Fed and you're a Fed dealer, you get 10 years automatic lockup, right? Because it's Schedule 1 disease. In my 20 years of being a criminal defense attorney, just this last year, I've had 2 cases of possession where drug dealer cases were saying possession with intent to distribute. 1 crack and 1 meth. You know what I've never had in 20 years? Not once, a fentanyl dealer. Right? Because these creeps and the FBI and the CIA and the aristocrats, that want to take over this country. They love the fact that 100,000 dead American kids are killed every year by fentanyl. They love it. They let it in, and they let this happen. And so he's closed that border down, and he's going to stop that. And so that's stopping of the death. But he's also with the killing, making the taxes permanent. That's the way it should be. These creep Democrats and these creep Republicans used to make it as like when you had a tax cut, but like his last tax cut, you had to beg to get it and work to get in. And no, if you creeps want to take taxes from American people, you don't make it automatic that you have to get a tax cut. It's automatic. No, you make the creeps pass a law saying that they're going to increase the taxes the way it should be, right? So that is fixed, and the Trump taxes are now permanent. So if the Democrats want to raise taxes, they have to do it, right? And thank you, Rand Paul, for exposing yourself, and Massey for exposing yourself once more. Never trust these clowns because they were always fake. They were always going to stab the Republican, Donald Trump and the MAGA movement in the back the first chance they get. So everybody should do everything they can to remove these clowns because they believe in this objectivism and Rand bullshit, right? They're just like the left. They hate America and they hate Americans. So anyway, so that is in there. Plus, he's got all kinds of things in the great big beautiful bill. To one of them, one is that you no longer have to wait 30 years to do depreciation of a factory. You can literally build your factory today, starting today in this year, and then claim it all as a write-off on your taxes. You don't have to wait 30 years. And the incentive is that all these big business guys said, listen, you can't trust the Democrats. You can't even trust the Republicans. Only one guy has done this. So in the next 4 years, you're going to see the biggest boom, factory boom, building boom in American history. And it's smart because these guys can depreciate everything in the next 4 years. They know what's going to happen when in years from now. And so this is the revolution. It's at this point we can call it the Trump revolution. The Trump revolution, and it's starting. And so that's why in a very brief and about other things that it's going to have zero impact on the. Oh yeah, one more thing. Every time they take an illegal and throw them over the border, what do you have? You have one. You see what you see in the actual numbers. You see a 2 million decrease in the foreign-born jobs, right? And a 2 million increase in American-born job employment, right? Every time you grab an illegal, throw them back over the border, that means, oh, poor boo-hoo, all you Rand Paul / Elizabeth Warren creeps who demand to have somebody cut your grass and somebody else, like one of my kids, raise your kids as an au pair. Oh, boo-hoo, you're not going to be able to hire a serf or a slave to do it. You have to hire an American, American citizen. So you see that the wages have outpaced inflation for the first time. So without a doubt, the last 6 months has been the most successful 6 months of any president in American history. You say when Trump, well, you can't say Reagan killed the Soviet Union, but Bush got the credit because it had his watch when it fell. But other than that, the successful WEJ, WWJ. All right, you gotta give Truman that too. He won the Second World War, right? But other than those two, there's always somebody. Actually doing things, for actually, like, without a doubt, the most successful 6 months, and that's why zero impact on MAGA, because MAGA is fighting for its life, and all these other special interests have special interests in Washington. Currently, we only have really one lobby for special interests for special interests for the MAGA movement, and it's Donald J. Trump, and he is and taking names, and that's why it's not gonna. I wish we gotta get into a detail why it's important, why how it has to be exposed. The sad reality is the ultimate reason why it's not because Trump's in compromise. Now he's the cleanest guy. If they had the information, they would have put it out there, right? It's not that. The reason why, and I'll tell you what it is real brief, is when they did the initial investigation, the county DA was having all kinds of problems when they had only generated at least 40 victims. They had 40 victims, and they investigation for Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, but he was having too much trouble then because they were paying people off. So he kicked it up to the feds. Now the frontline prosecutors, they sat on the butt because they didn't have to do anything. This was a slam dunk case. They had 40 victims. This guy was going to go away forever, right? And then the intelligence services put the kibosh on it, and so there's not a lot of evidence, right? There's not a lot of evidence, and they didn't investigate it the way they should have, and they didn't go through it all, and so there probably isn't a lot of evidence of that, because the evidence was stolen by the last administration and destroyed or distributed to their acolytes, so that pedestrians can go on and do their crazy pedophile worshiping, devil worshiping crap that they've been doing on it. Hey, QAnon, I know you're a front for the CIA. I don't mean you. I mean the real pedophile ring. This big running there. Why does the Podestas have 5,000 pictures of dead children and sexually and abusing sexually children in their houses? Why? They're the center of the Democratic Party. How come nobody's asked them the question? How come no federal agency has investigated them because they have child porn? Why? I don't care who they are. I don't care if they are the center of the Democratic Party and the center of Washington, D.C. Somebody should be serving a warrant on those houses and confiscating that child porn and then locking those two idiots up. All right, but so the long and short of it is it's going to have zero impact on MAGA because the MAGA base has got his eyes focused on the most important thing, which is the economy, bringing back the jobs to America, bringing back factories to America, back on into industry to America, so America can get back to what it's doing, which is letting the middle class of this country save the world, literally save the world by free markets. 1850, $1.4 trillion GDP for the world, 1 billion human beings. Then the Civil War gets ended, and American age begins to 2020. 8-fold increase, 8 billion people in the world, 100-fold increase in GDP of the world thanks to American free markets. And 140 trillion GDP. 5% of the world starving in 1850, 95% of the world fed in 2020. Thanks to free markets, thanks to capitalism, you creeps, AOC, you scum, get away, go away, you commie pigs, right? And that's what we have to get back to, and that's what Donald J. Trump is busy doing in Washington, D.C. for now, and he should take a couple months, relax a little bit, but he can't because he's on a mission from God, as we are.
Well, John, July 20th, Moon Day, is also the 6-month anniversary of President Trump being president. So today we're recording now. It's July 20th because we're into the new day. And happy 6-month
Woohoo!
anniversary. Yeah.
Magar, make America greater.
On that note, brother, I think we're done for the night. This show will be out
on
Monday morning.
We are totally not done until you say it. We're not done until you say it. Say it.
Remember, brother, this show will be airing on Monday. If you haven't liked and subscribed to our show, you should. But remember, brother, it's all good.
It's all good. Yes, I heard it again.
Because God loves you. Good night.
Right.
Good evening. Good morning. Whatever it may be for you.
Well, we're being televised now.
It's not unusual that we televise executions, Mr. Wordsworth. Last year in the mass executions, we televised around the clock. 1,300 people were put to death in less than 6 hours.
Now drop and give me 20. History teaches you nothing.
On the contrary, history teaches us a great deal. We had predecessors, Mr. Wordsworth,
You mean like
who had
Democrats?
the beginnings of the right idea. But their era was not one of excess. It was simply not going far enough. Too many undesirables were left around, and undesirables eventually form a core of resistance.
It's worse than horrible because a zombie has no will of his own.
Don't hassle the dead boy.
Walking around blindly with dead eyes, following orders, not knowing what they do.